Hey, how's it going? This is Melinda and welcome to my channel. So today I'm doing an unlikely comparison of a couple of turntables that are as different as night and day, but I thought it would be a fun experiment. I'll explain to you why I'm talking about this and what happened to allow me to do such an experiment. I want to give you a quick update on the move, okay? So we're on week 3 and still no furniture, no estimated time of when we're gonna get our furniture. And so we're still just trying to make things work with a mattress on the floor. And thankfully, I did bring my own records, my own turntable, all of my stereo equipment, myself, my husband. So thankfully, I do have that stuff and I'm not worried about that. That is one less thing to worry about. But the movers have our personal belongings and all of our furniture. And I just want to say it's very, very interesting how this all works out when it comes to the movers. And when we reached out to them to potentially hire them, you couldn't have gotten a quicker, more kind response. Also, when the movers showed up to collect our belongings, they were punctual, they were careful, and they did a really good job of wrapping all the furniture very carefully, taking the boxes out very carefully. And then when they drove off, boom, it's like we now have a totally different business we're dealing with. And it's because they have all the power. They have our furniture, they have our personal belongings, and they no longer have to cater to us. It's been very frustrating. They're not as kind anymore when we call and inquire about why we haven't received our furniture yet. And it's just interesting. I am looking forward to, and I do know my husband did so much research. It is a legit company. We didn't get ripped off. They didn't take our furniture. I don't believe it has been sold at auction or anything like that. It's just from where we were moving to where we have moved to, we didn't have a ton of options. The movers we hired get pretty good reviews, but they also get some bad reviews, and that's probably what they're going to get from us after this is all over. You know, don't tell anybody, but once we get our personal belongings, I'm probably going to let people know the truth. You know, don't expect to get your furniture in 3 to 7 business days like promised. So week 3, here we go. A good thing though, and I'm looking forward to doing an update with you on this, I did find a couch and a really cool coffee table for my music room. And I can't wait to share the story about it. When I saw it, it immediately brought back a very strong memory. And I'm really excited. I think you're going to love them. I don't, as of yet, have an area rug or any kind of window treatments or any kind of wall treatments at all in my music room. But I want to talk to you about a couple of turntables that I was able to do a little bit of a experiment on and listen to some music to see what the difference was with these two turntables. And what happened was, and what inspired the video, is I was downstairs doing some work, doing some unloading of boxes that we brought ourselves and just working around the house. My husband, from what I understood, was upstairs working in his office. When all of a sudden I'm downstairs and I'm doing some work, I start hearing a sound that was very familiar, and it was 1984 from Van Halen. I started hearing that music and I knew immediately what was going on. Instead of being in the office, my husband was hooking up my stereo equipment, and I couldn't run up the stairs and get in my music room fast enough. And it was so great to be able to hear a vinyl record after all this time of having to pack up my records and stereo equipment. It's been a long time, you guys, since I've had a music room or been able to listen to my records. It was so cool to hear. And then when I started looking around and I noticed the turntable, he did not have my Rega P8. He had my backup turntable, which is an older Pioneer PL516. I'm thinking it's probably from the later 70s. It was something that he bought at an estate sale for $30 several years ago. It wasn't working at the time, but my husband looked at it. It was clean. It was in very good condition. And he thought, I can fix this. And he did. It didn't take long at all. And he fixed it. So it's a $30 turntable that I use as a backup when it comes to my records and listening. When we went to Colorado several years ago, and we had to live there for a few months, the backup turntable is what I took with me. It works great. So I was listening to that, and you know what? I was enjoying myself. It was great. I was grabbing some records, putting them on, listening, because I hadn't heard them in a long time. It was fun. So the thing was, my Rega P8, there was something going wrong with, my husband initially thought, the power supply. But once he actually had some time to really look at the situation, a day or two later, he realized that it was something just malfunctioning with the hookup from the power supply to the turntable, the P8, and he was able to fix it really, really easily. So we took the Pioneer PL516 off and put on my Rega P8. And I thought, what? Since I just got through listening to all of these records on that Pioneer turntable that I paid $30 for, why not do a little comparison and see what is the difference between this expensive Rega P8? They're expensive in my opinion. Now, a lot of people have much more expensive turntables, and a lot of people have a lot less expensive. I'm kind of somewhere maybe on the lower end of the middle. To me, what a P8 costs is expensive. I don't even remember how much it is. It's probably about a $4,000 turntable. I could be wrong. You can look it up and see for yourself. But it's not a cheap turntable. And I will tell you this, if it was any other time in my life, I don't know that I would have spent the money to get this kind of turntable. The Rega P8 is awesome, and I got a really awesome cartridge that was included with the purchase. I bought it as a package. But say 10, 20 years ago, when my daughter was still in the house and I was still buying all of her clothes and paying for all of these things for her, this wouldn't have been in the cards for me. I wouldn't have splurged on myself in that way. Fast forward 10 years from now, 15 years from now, when my husband and I are in retirement, we might live a little tighter on the budget at that point too. So I would say this is just the perfect time in my life where I don't have the expense of children, and I don't also have the worries of retiring and having enough money in retirement. So this is one of those times when I'm able to splurge a little on myself and buy something like this. So the question is, it's not a fair comparison, and I will give you that. A Pioneer PL516 from the 70s is on a different level than the Rega P8. But I just wanted to mention and talk about what I think is the better value, what differences I noticed. So let's just talk about honestly, the better value. I've got to give it to that Pioneer. It was fun. It was good. It played a lot of my just normal records that aren't considered audiophile. This Van Halen, it sounded really good on there. It was nice. I enjoyed it. And so I just think for $30, I think when they work, you can buy them for about $200. That's a steal. It's a great way to get into vinyl records. Now, when I did my listening experiment, all of my other stereo equipment was the same, and they are nicer, more high-end. I have nicer stereo equipment. So I will leave below the details of my stereo equipment so you can see what I actually played. Both of the turntables, it was the same stereo equipment. But I thought that Pioneer was awesome. It was great. I enjoyed it. And I think it was just so good to be able to sit back and listen to music. We have been through a lot when it comes to this move, okay? I know a lot of people have a lot worse things going on in their lives, and my heart goes out to you. But this isn't easy. Having said that, then once that Rega P8 was fixed and my husband was able to put that up there and take the Pioneer turntable down, and I started playing those same records. Oh my gosh. And you all know, if you watch my channel a lot, you know the usual suspects here. Led Zeppelin 2, you know, the hot mix, that Robert Ludwig famous hot mix that sounds absolutely incredible. I played that on my Pioneer turntable, and I also played it on my Rega P8. Oh my gosh. It sounded great on both of them. But you want to talk about capturing this energy between when it pans back and forth, just a truly raw rock and roll experience. The Rega P8, it just blew it away. It was absolutely incredible when it comes to details. The Pioneer captured the spirit of this record. It really did, and it was wonderful. The Rega P8 captures the spirit and more details. The turntable itself and the stylus just is able to read more of the information in those grooves. I mean, that's just all there is to it. So don't get me wrong, it was a lot of fun to listen to on that Pioneer, and it's a great one to have if you could find it. And I have been able to find it at a record store where I paid up for it, and then I was also able to find it at an antique store for $10. So it's out there. You just got to hunt one down and get lucky. This is the Mobile Fidelity Alan Parsons Project Eye in the Sky. Again, it sounded really good on the Pioneer. It soared on my P8. You know, my Rega P8 just absolutely, you hear all these details. I will say this. I want to mention this, that I still don't quite have my positioning of my speakers or of my subwoofers. They're not quite there. I've got to especially work on those subwoofers because the presence of the subwoofer, the bass is deeper in areas where it shouldn't be, and less present where I was sitting. So I've got to do some maneuvering with my amazing REL subwoofers that I have. But anyway, it was still just absolutely a joy to listen to, and it sounded really good. I'm looking forward to all of the improvements that will continue to follow once I'm able to continue with the rug on the floor, the carpet, or I should say the wall treatments. I'm looking forward to all that, and also just perfecting the placement of my stereo equipment. Here's another one. You all are probably tired of seeing this on my channel, and I understand that, but this record, this is Analog Productions, 45 RPM of Ted Nugent. Stranglehold is absolutely an incredible performance, and this is, I had an original, this is the better sound for me. It is just sprinkled with some kind of fairy dust that sounds absolutely amazing. Again, we're talking about a difference between just a very fun, raw, cool listen. And then with the Rega P8, it was the same thing, but also you get this three-dimensional experience. You hear a little bit more detail in the vocals and in the guitar performance, and it just really has a presence and it comes to life in a way it doesn't with the Pioneer. Although, again, I will say, the Pioneer captures the spirit of the record. If you understand what I mean, it really does. It's just you sit and listen and you have a good time, and it's still so danceable and so enjoyable. And I have to say too, if you don't own this and you have any extra money at all and you love Van Halen, oh my gosh, this Van Halen 2, this is the Mobile Fidelity 45 RPM version. It knocks my socks off. It's getting great reviews, and it's a great album, and it just absolutely sounds incredible. Again, it's just the Pioneer. For $30, that is definitely the better value, because you go from not having a turntable to having a really great turntable that will serve your needs very, very well. It will give you an amazing Friday night. You get home from work, you get your favorite beverage, you go in your music room, you pick out your favorite record and play it. It's going to sound great. But the Rega P8, it just picks up where the Pioneer left off. You get all of that. You get more detail, get more magic, And you should, because it's a lot more expensive, you know? So I'm not trying to compare the two. I'm just saying they both serve an amazing purpose. It really also just depends on what you're looking for. You know, if you are kind of into these audiophile records like I can be, getting a better turntable as best as you can afford with the best stylus you can afford is always going to be the way to go. The Pioneer, actually, you know, if you are someone, you have kids, you're still paying for them to go to school, or, you know, you are a retiree and you live on a kind of a little bit of a fixed income where you want to be careful, that Pioneer is also an incredible way to go. And it's just a lot of fun either way. I'm grateful to have that Pioneer. So if something ever happens to my Rega P8 like it just did, I was still able to sit back and enjoy music. And I think that's what it's all about, right? No matter how you hear it, what details, or it really is just about hearing music, a song that takes you back to a time in your life that was a little different, that holds special memories. A lot of times that's what it's about. Sometimes I just want to go back to the 1970s. I want to just remember something that the summer of a 1977. I don't know. Sometimes I just want to feel something like that and go back in time. And either one of these turntables will do that for you. One just does it in more detail than others, but it's also going to come with a bigger price tag. So it's just what's more important to you. Getting the spirit of the music, being able to enjoy it, or hearing all of the details. And I want to hear, what type of person are you? Are you someone who doesn't need an expensive turntable or doesn't need all of the details? You just want to hear the music. You want it to sound good. Also, I will say this. Some of you who have the older systems, you are experts in how to maximize them to the utmost and have the incredible best sound. And I know you're out there because you give me advice and you're so knowledgeable. And that's what I love about the people who watch my channel. A lot of you know so much and you share it with me, and I really appreciate that. So some of you can take this older stuff and make it sound absolutely amazing, and I think that's wonderful. And I love vintage. I love the look of vintage. But I also love the modern stuff too. And there's two different schools of thought. You know, you think today's technology has never been better, and technology of today is at its best. And then there's also the school of thought where things were made better back then, you know? And it just depends on where you are. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. Where are you in that? Are you more of a things were made better back in the day, or are you one that says the modern technology is the way to go? And really, honestly, I love both, and I'm not picking sides here. I'm just glad to have both turntables and to be able to compare the two. And I want to hear what you have to say. And if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel. I'm getting really close to 30,000 subscribers, which is absolutely incredible to me, because I never thought I would have more than 1,000, honestly. It was never even a goal. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and the subscribe button, and also hit the notification bell so you never miss any of my videos. Most importantly though, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.